This is geometry. We're on lesson 1-11, quadrilateral types. Anyone want to say hello to Ellery?
No. Hi, I guess. Good luck at whatever you're doing.
Right. So we are here. We are doing quadrilateral types. We have these notes in front of us already. So we're just kind of filling this in. So Ellery, if you're doing this, this blank template should be online and you can just copy along with us. So we already know that the definition of a quadrilateral from Colby is a shape with four sides. Let's jump into the trapezoid. What is the definition of a trapezoid? Anyone want to take a stab at it?
Stab?
Go for it, Leo, yeah. You don't have a paper? I printed out 16 of them, and there are only 15 of us in class, so spread them around. If you have them, please pass them around. Okay, I will print one out for you right now then. Boom. Okay.
A third pair.
All right, can you guys? Perfect. There you go. All right, so trapezoid. India, go for it.
It has one set of parallel sides.
Yeah, and I'm going to actually add on to that because you're correct. It's one side or one pair of parallel sides. Okay, Chewy, Aurelia, you both lost XP.
Oh, XP?
You both lost HP, sorry.
HP or sorry. Teachers Teacher, biggest gain XP teacher.
Oh, that's not the right one.
Ooh, now he's a teacher.
Okay, if there's any more talking, you guys are losing HP. Please, no more talking.
Test me.
You just lost HP. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You lost HP again. I'm just going to apply this later. Okay, trapezoid. I'm going to say exactly one pair of parallel sides. The reason I use the word exactly is because if I have one pair and another pair, then you're actually a parallelogram. So it can only have exactly one. It can't have two. It can't have more than one. It's not at least one. It's exactly one pair. And you can, let's go ahead and make this note on our trapezoid. This side and this side are parallel to one another. Go ahead and make those little marks. They look like greater than symbols. All right, so this is an example of something that is just a quadrilateral that doesn't really fit into any other category. So this is just a quadrilateral. We're going to write no sides parallel. And I don't know why this C is up there. That's a misprint. I wish I could go back and I wonder if I can grab this. No, I can't. Okay, so a parallelogram. Anyone want to guess at the definition of a parallelogram? Quiet raised hand. I see India's hand, Colby's hand, Anna's hand. Go for it, Anna.
All sides are parallel?
Close, but you're, because this side right here and this side right here are not quite parallel.
All opposite sides are parallel?
Ah, so that's the definition. So let's go ahead and write that down. So it's two pairs of opposite parallel sides. All right, opposite means on the other side of. So if I'm looking at my parallelogram, this side right here is parallel to the opposite side down here, and this side on the left is opposite and parallel to this side over here. So go ahead and make those marks on your parallelogram. Bless you.
Bless you.
All right. So that's parallelogram. Inside of the parallelogram, and by the way, a parallelogram is inside a quadrilateral because in order to be a parallelogram, you have to be a quadrilateral. Inside of the parallelogram, we have a rhombus. Anyone want to guess at the definition of a rhombus? And before I forget, Anna, let me give you your XP. Rhombus. This one is a little bit difficult because we're not too familiar with it. So I'll give us the definition. A rhombus, all sides congruent. And again, if you don't like the word congruent, you can say all sides the same length. So I can write that down here in green, I guess. Congruent is just another way of saying the same length. So let's go ahead and make that on our note. So this is the same length as this, which is the same length as this, which is the same length as this. Notice that in the definition of rhombus, it doesn't say anything about the angles. Those angles can be anything they want, kind of. They don't have to be 90 degrees. There are a few rules that we'll be going over tomorrow, such as this angle and this angle are congruent, but for today, you don't need to know that. All right, rectangle. There's only one definition that I need for a rectangle for today's notes. There are quite a few things. There's the parallel, there's congruent sides, stuff like that. I want to talk about the angles. Can anyone talk to me about the angles of a rectangle? Colby, go for it.
They're 4 90-degree angles.
There it is. 4 90-degree angles. I might have heard talking over there. I'm not sure. 4 90-degree angles. That's all the definitions that I need for today. And if you don't like the word 90, or it's not really a word, but another way of saying 90 degree is this thing right here. It's a right angle. So I can say 4 right angles or 4 90-degree angles. It's the same thing. If I wrote it down in here, you're writing it on your notes. India, what's up?
I noticed that the overlapping between a rhombus and rectangle makes a kite.
It does roughly make a kite. If this length and this length were the same, then it would be a kite. I think that's a little bit off. We'll talk about kites tomorrow. We don't actually need kites for today. But if we did have kites, they would be out here in their own category, and maybe we can come back to our notes tomorrow and add that. So let's go ahead and draw 2 pictures of a rectangle. A rectangle could look like this. It could be more like this. It doesn't really matter as long as you have those 90-degree, those right angles. So super important, make sure you have this. This rectangle for the surrounding shape has 90-degree angles. This is actually a Venn diagram. A Venn diagram is just 2 circles where the centers are both of those. What is both a rectangle and a rhombus? That is, what has 90-degree angles, what has right angles for all 4 of those angles, but also all sides are congruent. What type of shape is that? Raised hand. Let's go with Martin. A square. So let's go ahead and make a square in here. So this is a square. And it has all of these sides are the same length, so make those notes. And it has all of these are 90-degree angles. Notice that since a square is both in a rhombus and in a rectangle and in a parallelogram, a square is both a rhombus, a rectangle, and a parallelogram. A rhombus is also a parallelogram. A rectangle is also a parallelogram, which is also a quadrilateral. If it's inside of something else, it is that for the definition. Question, Jaden?
Are we taking a bus or SUVs to the plane? Wow, what the?
Say that again?
Are we taking a bus or an SUV to the plane?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Any questions about the lesson? All right, let's scoot down to the very bottom. There are 2 example questions. I pull these directly from Khan Academy. So example 1, what kind of quadrilateral is this shape? And note it says to choose all answers that apply. So I can choose more than 1. I can choose 3, I can choose 4, I can choose just 1. It's definitely going to be at least 1. All right, so think about example 1. What would you bubble in if you were working on this on Khan Academy? And then Mr. Sindel will show us the answer. Actually, I'm going to ask for a student volunteer to see if they want to get some XP. What is the answer? Is it A and C, B and D? What is the answer? Quiet raised hand. I see India's hand. I want to see at least 4 hands before I choose someone. I see Lorea's hand. I see Anna's hand. I see Cheyenne's hand. Cheyenne, yeah, go for it. B, C, and D. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Agree or disagree? Oh, some thumbs down. Let me give you your XP before I move on. All right, so someone that gave me a thumbs down, Lorea, why did you do a thumbs down?
I don't think the square belongs.
So you're saying it's B and D? Why is it not a square?
Oh wait, maybe
All the sides are the same. I agree, so it is at least a rhombus. Ah, it's the 90-degree angles. These angles right here are not 90 degrees, so it's not a square. Perfect. So, Lorea, you get your XP for the correct answer, and you get your XP for catching a student error. All right, example 2. Read it. Read example 2. All right, Chewy, you just lost HP again. Example 2. You're thinking about it by yourself. You're not talking to other people. All right, now check with people around you. What do they get? Quiet raised hand. Answer. Quiet raised hand. I only see 2 hands. I'm not going until I see 4. I see 3 hands, 4 hands. Let's go with Emily. Just C? All right, thumbs up, thumbs down. Agree or disagree? Thumbs in the middle and thumbs down. Chewy, why'd you do thumbs in the middle?
Because it's also A.
It's also A? Why is it also A?
Because it also has 4 sides and equal length.
Yeah, so that is part of the definition of a rhombus too. If we come back up here to the rhombus, all sides are congruent. So all sides are congruent. That was A, and then it has two pairs of parallel opposite sides. That is also a parallelogram because a rhombus is inside of a parallelogram. Perfect. So let me give you XP. So Emily, you got your XP. Chewy, you got that XP, and you got that XP. All right, so that concludes the notes. Go ahead and flip your piece of paper over. On the very back, write your summary. Try to synthesize your work. For example, in my summary, I can say, if you are a square, you are both a rectangle, rhombus, parallelogram, and quadrilateral. So make sure to always look at what container you're inside of, or something like that. All right. Any questions before we end the video? All right. Say goodbye to Ellery.